Um, her name was, well, her last name is Grayson. I'm trying to think of what her first name was. But anyway, she went in there to complain about her order, whatever she had gotten, whether it be coffee and a donut, or whatever. And it was in the morning. And when she went through the drive-through, her order was wrong. Oh, great. Thank you. I've been working on it. Her order was wrong. Okay, so she went back inside to, let them know. And as I was saying, the video, there's no sound in the video. The video was all over YouTube, and I looked at it. Um, so there's no sound. But anyway, you can see a lot of pointing back and forth and everything. And the next thing you see is, I don't know whose fault it was or whatever. I'm not even getting into that. But they started tussling. And, I think it was the manager who came out and said something to her. And the next thing you know, they're on the floor fighting and everything. But it ended up that she, Tawana Grayson, wait a minute. No, that's the daughter. That's the daughter. I can't see her first name right now. But anyway, it ended up that she, got up after they, some other employees came and took the other employees off of her. And she ended up sitting up in the chair. They say she called somebody. I did see that she sat up in the chair. But I guess, she was really feeling bad or whatever. And the next thing you know, she was out of it. She was unresponsive, and they called 911. And but can you imagine these? I mean, anyway, I don't know who's at fault and all that. I can't say. But anyway, they ended up coming to get her, by ambulance, taking her to the hospital, and she never woke up. So now, the attorneys and everything are handling it. And, my question was about the whole thing is, why didn't they just say, I'm sorry. Do you want me to give you your money back? Or do you want to, it's our fault. We will take care of you, whatever. I could never figure that out. And it makes me think about what's happening in the world today and how things are, how everybody is so on the defensive and so mad and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I know we're just in a different place now because customer service never used to be that way. And it makes me wonder, what are they teaching the people now? When they hire you in, you should be taught how to de-escalate a situation instead of making it worse. And the reason, what made me think about it again today is that I went through the drive-through of Panera. And I sat there, there was nobody behind me in the beginning. Okay, so I pull right up and I pay and everything. I ordered a salad and they said, they took my money and everything, said, I'll be right with you, just a second. So I think I sat there like at least 15 minutes. And I'm looking, and then other people start pulling up behind me, And I'm thinking, what is taking them so long with this order? A salad? So anyway, I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And finally he comes back to the window and hands me my order and says, oh, I'm so sorry for the wait. I said, okay, thank you. So, of course, I park and I look at the order because I just didn't feel right. Something just didn't feel right. So I looked at the order, and the order wasn't right. It wasn't what I asked for. So it made me feel like, well, maybe they just gave me what they had, or whatever because it took so long for them to get it to me in the first place. So I sat there in the car and I'm thinking, as she came, the Miss Grayson, this lady came to my mind, because I'm thinking, wow, now I got to go in here and tell them, or should I just not do anything and just leave it? Okay. But then, another voice was saying, no, you need to go back. You need to go take care of this. You're not going to eat this, and you know it. So, first of all, to be honest with you, the reason I was contemplating whether I should just take it as is and leave it is because it took them so long, and I'm thinking, what the heck is going on? Hi there, Shirley. So glad you're here. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Why is this taking so long? And so it made me think, what could be going on with the salad? So that's another reason why, it wasn't like they were busy. There wasn't people around behind me when I started the order. So I'm thinking, I don't trust this. So anyway, it wasn't what I asked for. So I went back in and I told her, I said, this salad, this is not what I asked for. And you know what? I can tell you this. The person, they knew. They knew from the beginning. You know how I knew? Because the manager walked right up to me. And I knew it was the manager because she was dressed differently from everybody else. So it was like, kind of like they were expecting me because they knew that the order wasn't right. And so by the time I got up to the counter, she was there. There was nobody in front of me. I just walked in. She walks over like from the back, like she knew. And so I said to her, I said, this order is not right. This is not what I asked for. And she said, oh, do you just want your money back? I mean, she didn't even say, would you like me to redo the order? Because she knew that they didn't have this is my assumption, guys, my opinion. She knew that they didn't have what I asked for in the first place, and they put something together and thinking that I would just go away with that. This is my assumption, and I could be wrong, but that's what I think happened. And so she didn't ask me if I wanted them to redo the order or anything. She said, would you like your money back? And I said, yes, please. And she said, okay, do you want it back on your debit card or do you want me to give you cash? I said, just give me cash. And she just gave me cash. She said, I'm sorry, and I walked out. But it just made me think of her, of the Miss Grayson, because why couldn't that have happened with her? Why did she have to leave there unalived and have to wrestle with people and all that? Of course, I was not willing to take it that far. If it had come to that, I would have just said, it was what, let's see, around $8 or something. I would have just said, that's okay, if there was going to be a big fuss. But I don't know if Miss Grayson was already, a little bit upset or something, or because who knows whose fault it was. The police are saying one thing, and the family is saying another thing. And they have the attorney Crump involved in the situation because they're saying that they're not seeing the original tape of everything that happened. But when she walked in there, I feel like this. I feel like they should just have asked her if she wanted her money back or whatever, or just given it to her. But they started pointing at her, and you could see they were telling her to leave the store. And it seems like it just got out of hand fast from what I could see. So the power, people are on the defensive. And even though this manager, she was 20 years old, I think, when you're fighting with a 75-year-old and, pointing at her and everything, like I said, I don't know what was said. I have no idea. Why couldn't they just have given her money back or just say, I'm sorry, we'll fix this? I don't understand what happened with customer service and it's not new. I think over the last 10, 15 years, customer service has been going down. But over the last 8, 10 years, things have gotten worse because because of our leadership. I'll just put it at that. Um, but it's like there's some kind of power structure. There's people are trying to show they have the power. You know what I'm saying? And I feel kind of like I should keep my opinion to myself, but I mean, to me, that was ridiculous. Of course, there isn't going to be any charges so far um, for the person that did it. You know, that fought with her, had her wrestling all on the floor and everything. Um, to me, there should be something happening because it shouldn't have went that far. Anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the whole situation and how things ended up? She ended up not being able to go home to her family and everything, so it just went too far. How do you guys think that should have been handled? And I think about another thing I think about with this is that people just are being bullied a lot. Um, I feel like um, it's just a lot of it going on because the young man that, again, not being there, you don't know the whole situation. His name is, let's see, he has the name of a basketball star, but he's been in the news. He's been found guilty also. So the news around it is that they were at some kind of a game or something and it started raining. So he went and stood under the opposite team's um, tent or whatever. And there was, they told him that he couldn't stand there. He had to leave. There was some pushing going on. And okay, one side says that, you know, there's a pushing going on, but he did pull out a, a weapon, a sharp instrument, and attacked the person that was bullying him. Okay. Um, and they do say that the person that was bullying him did the push first. Okay. And he kept telling him to leave him alone, but he didn't. So, again, somebody got unalived. And now these are young kids, like, I guess he was 17 when it happened, and he just got convicted yesterday. Um, so they're thinking that he's gonna get life or something like that. So I just look at these different things that's going on, and yeah, I do believe that that was, I don't know, maybe the weapon didn't match the crime or whatever. But still, people are just so angry now, and it's just strange the way things are happening so quick and everything. What do you guys think about those situations? Do you think it's just power dynamics that's happening, or everybody's angry? It just takes a little something to push somebody, and they're ready to go off on you. I don't know. Well, anyway, how's everybody's evening going tonight? I just thought we would have a little gathering here tonight and just talk, just discuss some things, and you know, see how things are going with everyone. But those kinds of things just kind of, it's like now everybody is just so angry. It takes the least little thing to tick somebody off. And it's always something, it seems like. And I hate to be a downer, but I look at the way things are happening today. Nobody wants to stop and say, "Hey, this is not worth it. It's not worth it." I just heard of another situation, guys, and I'm going to get off of this. Feeling tired? Oh, sorry about that. Sounds like you need to rest a little bit, T. I'm glad you're here, though. Another situation that came up, guys, and I think I'm talking about this just because I want to make sure that we are all on alert and we can try to, when things come our way like that, maybe we can try to de escalate it, whatever it takes so that everybody gets home. It's kind of like how, we tell our kids, just, if you get stopped, just, try to do what you can to make sure you get home, that kind of thing. Well, it's happening everywhere now. Um, so I heard about this graduation party that was going on over the weekend. And the young man's father had the open house for him, and he stays with his father. I'm not going to mention any names, but he lives with his father, 19 years old, tired emotionally of the fight between good and bad, war weary. Yeah, there's just so much of that going on, T. You're so right. I just don't understand myself I do understand how we're in this position because of the leadership. But anyway, the father had the open house for the child. Okay, he just graduated. So the son lives with the father and not with the mother. The mother and the father are not together. Actually, they're divorced. Who knows why? That's beside the point. The father has a young man, so he gave him the open house, right? And so it looks like the mother and her family wasn't invited. So they wait. It's like, and this is alleged. Okay, so if anybody's hearing this is alleged. I guess they were sitting outside waiting until some of the participants that were invited opened the door to go out, and so they could, get in. They go in and they start a fight with the father. And I mean, a fight. Not just a push, a fight. Three against one. And this is the boy's family, the boy's mother, grandmother, aunts. It was just crazy. I think it was more like 4 against 1. It's the aunt, the mother, 2 aunts, and a mother. And they fought so hard that something on the father broke on his body. And I'm not going to say what because, I don't want to. It's something that happened kind of locally, so I'm going to keep that. But anyway, they ended up calling the police and everything. And my thing about that is, if you weren't invited, if the son lives with the father, first of all, sometimes there's a reason for that when the son lives with the father and not with the mother, right? He wants to live with the father. And the mother side of the family decides, we weren't invited to the open house, so we're going to come in and start a ruckus. And the thing about it is, I cannot imagine how traumatized the young man that was, the open house was for, how traumatized he is because his parents, aunts, and grandparents was fighting. Can you imagine? That is just, everybody is just so on edge. And just like what T said, um, there's this thing that's going on between good and evil. But I think until something changes in leadership, everybody is so on edge and think they can just do anything that it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Have you guys seen anything like that happening around you that's close to you or whatever? Or heard anything about anything like that happening? Let me know in the comments. Control. T says control, entitlement, and obsession. My mother was like that. Didn't want me to be happy living without her. Oh. Oh. Did you have a situation, T, where you lived with your father or somebody else? Or she just felt that because you were her daughter, she should have you under her control? And that happens too. It doesn't matter. When you think about it, it doesn't matter that it's your parent. Because sometimes they feel like they have to have all the control also. You know? It's like no matter how old you get. Oh, he got custody of you. Yeah, see, that was the thing, I think, with this person too. He had custody of the son. And the son wanted to be with him. But my point with that is, okay, so when I look at that, what you just said, she felt like she should have control because of being her daughter. Yeah, yeah. But if you don't want to be there, then the best thing is to let the other person have the child. But the thing about that, too, to me was, if they didn't like the fact that he gave the open house for the son, there was nothing stopping them from doing it either. I don't know why the fight happened, but it had something to do with them not being able to get in. So I'm thinking they weren't invited. And I guess I see why now. But yeah, some people just need to have control no matter what. And like I said, no matter how old you get, sometimes you have to cut those people off and, just be done with it. Even though you hate to do that because that's your parent, sometimes you have to love people from a distance. And, it's sad, but it happens. So, yeah, I think you're right, T. They probably were jealous. But why not let your son and your grandson and your nephew just enjoy his day? I mean, it's kind of all over the place. Everybody knows what happened, and it's sad because now what is he going to remember about his graduating high school? That his family fought and probably the fact he probably will think that he was the reason for the fight, which I'm sure he wasn't. It's just something that they wanted to do. Like you said, they were just jealous. Um, but that's no reason for somebody to put their hands on somebody. And I think that in that particular case, they should have just waited till everything was over. And if they wanted to yell at the father or whatever, do that afterwards. Right? That's how I see it anyway. I mean, maybe I'm just being a little bit, and I've never been in that situation, that kind of situation. Um, so I don't know. My granddaughter graduated this weekend. Yeah, she graduated, and we all went to dinner. We had a great time. Um, so I don't know. I guess until you get into a situation like that, we can do all the talking we want. But the thing about it is, like I said, why escalate things like that? It's just ridiculous. Has anyone had graduations to go to? Put it in the chat for me. This summer. I've had a few, but nothing like that's happened. I mean, that is just, I just can't even imagine how that poor child is going to feel, you know, as he goes out into the world and he has to deal with that kind of thing. So, what's going on with everybody else that's in the chat? Thank you all for being here. So happy you guys stopped by. I'm glad that my audio is much better. Um, I was on almost on time. I think it was uh, 7:53. But again, I was having these problems with my stuff, but it turned out to be okay. It's been really warm here, though. The mother was violent to begin with, which is probably why she lost custody, probably. My mother was which violent, which is why she lost custody of me. They only think with anger and violence. Yes. You know what? I'm thinking that that's probably what happened. When I think about it, because it's hard to know why people get divorces and that kind of thing. But sometimes you can let your family get involved too much. They call that enmeshment or whatever, when you can't let your family go. Once you get married and that kind of thing, and your family stays in your business, and you listen to your family, you know, and let them run your married life and that kind of thing, because we thought they were happy, and then next thing we knew they were divorced, and then he has a son. So yeah, it could have been some violence. It had to be, because you don't just come up in a place like that. It was at a kind of like a hall kind of situation. So I mean, it wasn't at his house, so there were a lot of people there. But they ended up having to call the police. So I don't know what's going to come of it. But yeah, you would think that somebody was just violent in the first place. But I just think that it's happening, things like that are happening more and more. People are just being crazy, to me, just doing things, you know. So, what's going on with you guys? It looks like we're going to have a storm here pretty soon. It's been a lot of changes in the weather. I mean, it is June, but like tornadoes and things like that. How's your weather been where you're at? Has anybody else heard about the Graceland story that I just talked about earlier? No one's heard about it. It's kind of all over the news, though. And I'm sure we'll hear more about it because they have retained Mr. Crump. So those are my stories for tonight. Anybody else have anything to talk about? They want to talk about? I think what I'll do, guys, is I'm gonna pull a card for us. Trying to think which deck I want to use to pull the card. Um, Hold on. Let me see. I had my card deck out. One moment. Okay, I'm going to use the Angel Numbers deck and pull a card for us. Hi, MS Smong. How are you? Yeah, no, long time no see. You're right. You're right. I've been getting back into it though, so you guys have to come back. Yes. Yes. Said the orange troll went to the game and lost. Yeah. I I don't know what do you think he's expecting? Really? I mean, yeah. I just don't know why he thinks somebody wants to see him. Atlanta is protesting big time. They do not want those devils building on their protected lands. Yeah. Oh, you said Albania. Okay, Albania. Yeah, but you know what? They think hopefully, hopefully, guys, it won't be long. You know how it is. We we have no control over when it happens or what happens or whatever happens. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to get a different deck after that one. I want to, what I have is This Might Hurt deck. I don't know what you guys think. I don't think he's going to show up at any more games. Oh, T says, yeah, I got it now, Albania. Thank you, Christine. Um, I don't know, evil people live along. Well, he can live forever. I mean, he can live a long time, not forever, but he can live a long time. That doesn't mean that he's going to be able to um, work forever. And it's okay if he lives, that's fine. Um, but who knows how long he'll be able to lead. And the thing that I've always said when I did readings before, even if um, what's his name, the vice president gets in there, even if he gets in there, Vance, I don't think he's going to be in there that long. I never thought he would be. And I really don't think he will be, because everything's going to come down on them so fast. Mm. Number 2 for the most data centers. I thought I read somewhere where they're going to start, there's going to be some law where they can't just put them up wherever they want. I think I read something about that. I'm just going to pull 3 cards and see what's happening with the orange poop. Just gave him a new name, guys. Yeah, I think that they're trying to do something about them, just putting those up wherever they want. Pam Bondi's been quiet for some reason, I don't believe. Oh, you don't believe she has cancer? Huh. Think she's faking it? Well, I wouldn't be surprised. They all fake it all the time, so. They're finally, it's like they got they got a memo about what happened with the ear. Allegedly, there's been some kind of email about the person that was on the roof being in contact with the sheriff by email. Oh, you're cooking. I hope you're cooking something good. I know you probably are. Yeah, it's unusually hot here too. Okay, so what I have, wow. Okay, guys, I have the Hermit, I have the Six of Swords, and the Page of Cups. And just looking at this in general, I feel like there is a lot of investigations going on concerning this orange poop. Okay, people are really looking into things, and like I said, I heard today that um, um, the sheriff department. This is alleged. This is all. I don't know what's real and what's not. I'm just, you know, saying what I heard is for entertainment purposes only. That the sheriff's department was in touch with the person on the roof. Um, that they had exchanged several emails that just came out today. So, Hermit, they're investigating. They're figuring things out. Six of Swords, he wants to get away. I don't know if he's going to get away, but this is about going away, some kind of way. This is about going away, okay? And then the Page of Cups. And I feel like with this particular Page of Cups, that he is definitely, people are focused on him, but he's feeling like he's closed in. Things are closing in around him. You can see this fish in here in this plastic bag that the Page of Cups is looking at. So I feel like the information that he's getting is making him even more upset and he feels like things are closing in on him. Yeah. People are watching him. Everybody, he's gotten away with so much, and now it looks like the walls are closing in on him. I was just thinking about Pam Bundy, and the Ten of Cups came up. This is about family. Is she the one that her husband is kind of strange? Is she the one? Christine? They've been talking about her husband. Mm-hmm. He is Christine. Christine says he's the most hated person on earth. And that's true. I mean, around the world, nobody wants to see him. It's like, go back home. Go back where you came from. We don't want to be bothered with you, you know. Okay, so T says yes. That's him. Okay. So, oh, Chrissy, no. Okay. Chrissy knows the one that has the husband that's strange. Is she the one? Okay, which one is pregnant? Isn't one of them pregnant? Or is that a third one that I'm thinking about? She should be had the baby by now, as long as she's been pregnant, though. You guys know who I'm talking about? It's somebody that's pregnant. Oh, and she's going to leave. She was going to leave. See, I'm not keeping up with politics like I used to so much, guys. But that was the spokesperson. Yeah, that's right. That's right, T. You're right. Christine, why don't you believe she had cancer? Christine. Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind, whatever. I haven't been listening to him. Vance's wife is pregnant. That's another reason why he won't be around long. Not because she's pregnant, but because she is who she is. Yep. It's crazy. But I thought there was somebody else that. Okay. I think they're setting her up so she can take. Okay, so you say you think they're setting her up so she can take her loss, I'll put it that way, and move away. So are you talking about the Vance's wife? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree about that. I agree about Epps. I always said he was, and I still do believe that he's still around somewhere. And his accomplice, I always believed they let her go. If you look back at some of my videos, I said that. somebody's in there, but it's not her. Pretty much you had to let her go. I mean, when you think about it, we're talking about Maxwell. Pretty much you had to let her go in order to keep her quiet. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory or whatever, but I think something went on there with that whole thing. And people are questioning whether or not that's her. She's definitely out of, you look at the person that's in there and she looks way different. Yes, that's right, Christine. She looks way different. I mean, it's just so different. It's crazy that I think they don't care if we accept it or not. It's up to us, because it's like they feel like they can do whatever they want to do. And they do. They do. They do whatever they want to do, whether we like it or not, because we're not going to do anything about it. And it's not really up to us to do anything about it. But I think they know that they can just get away with whatever, which is crazy. And then, guys, guess what? Here's another story. I read that they're trying to get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, a lot of other social programs, but those three in particular. Of course, I had to go look it up because I'm like, can they really do that? And the answer is no. They can't just sign an executive order or whatever it is. Wow, it's pouring down rain here. They can't just sign an executive order and say, we're taking it away or we're going to cut it or anything like that. It has to go through Congress. And you have to have enough Republicans to approve a cut. And right now, that's not happening. And even then, from what I read, is it written in the Constitution? Wherever it's written. It's not in the Constitution, I'm sure, because this Social Security and everything happened after that. But there is some kind of law. There is some kind of law that says no, they can't just do it. So regardless of what you guys are hearing, it can't just be done because they say they want to do it, and Orange Poop and his little maggot Mike are working on it, trying to get it done, but it's not going to happen. So I'm going to get us an angel card, guys. And yeah, they're talking about a shortage. I have not been canning. We have started a small garden. We've always had one. And I usually freeze things. I used to can. I don't do that anymore. To me, I don't even want to be near the fire anymore anyway. So that's not something that I do anymore. But I freeze. I do freeze. And it's good just to have your own garden anyway. So let me pull us an angel card. Wow. Well, this is a good one, guys. 601 is the number. And it says, embrace the unknown. Some changes are coming your way. Your angels know you are stuck in a comfort zone. So a new opportunity is on its way to bump you out of it. Yes, it will be scary and unfamiliar, but it will also be good for you. Right now, take a few centering breaths as you visualize confidence flowing into you, knowing you're capable of navigating whatever whatever unexpected situation presents itself. Hmm. That's a good one. You know, guys, when I think about it, the thing about it is, we have to look at AI and all those things that are coming up that we can't do anything about. And this card reminds me, embrace the unknown, because we don't know what's going to happen with that either. But we do know that it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And just as you mentioned about the things they're building to house all this stuff everywhere they can do it, that's not a good thing, but it's something that we have to deal with right now. But I'm glad that people are on it and they're not just letting them just move in and do whatever they want to do whenever they get ready. So that's a good thing. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get off of here because that rain is coming down so hard. It's like I better, maybe go somewhere and take cover or something. I don't know about you guys, but we've been having storms like crazy. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me, and I will see you next week. And we will have some more things to chat about. So have a good evening, everybody. Bye now. Thank you for joining me.